What's up everyone, UEBS 2 Hub here. My primary channel is Tankenstein, but if you are here for my debut video for UEBS 2, this is a knockout. We have almost 50,000 American troops and tanks versus 6 million zombies, all in front of the Great Pyramids of Egypt. That's right, we have around 12,500 shotgun soldiers on either side. I've made it so that each side has about the same amount of troops, exactly 12,500. We have 2,500 assault troops behind them in those little small line, and then this huge line is 20,000 assault troops, and we also have 10 of these Shermans protecting each of them. So we have these two large groups, and we also have this large line of assault troops that is fairly thin, but will also help to protect the middle, which itself is a choke point. So these guys should do fairly well in that regard. That said, let's start the battle. So I've made it so that they all attack, which means that the range, so melee units of course have to attack. They cannot just hold unless you have other melee units running towards them. Now range units, when they have to attack, unless they are overwhelmingly powerful versus the melee units, they will be at a disadvantage because this game, at least as of right now, has a pretty big weakness, I guess you could say. Like they break their formations, which means that you have small pockets of troops in this instance that just fall very easily. We already have 300 troops gone because of that. So if they held formation, if I selected the hold formation, I feel like it would be a little bit easier for them to survive. Now we actually have 2 troops down here. I feel like they will go. Now this creates an interesting sort of defensive arrangement down here, because you have the sides of the Great Pyramid, and also, I assume these are the Great... Actually, no, these are not the Great Pyramids. These are just pyramids, so forgive me if I'm saying the Great Pyramids, because I don't believe these are the Great Pyramids. But either way, you have these little valleys here in which zombies can just get through and then completely encircle. Now, right here, I'm assuming we have somewhere around 1,000 troops. The rest of the troops have broken off and obviously helped the flanks. Now, we've got almost 200,000 dead zombies, but 10% of the troops are gone. And obviously, they are doing very well here. This is pretty much just a turkey shoot right here. And now, the zombies are going to be picking off these lone troops that just decided to go out by themselves. Very stupid on their part. But of course, that will happen when you do not select hold. Now, I've run a previous simulation kind of similar to this, with different troop numbers and whatever else. And these troops actually pushed out pretty far that way. Now, I'm wondering if that's going to happen here. Now, what is going to happen is we have already 300,000 plus zombies dead. Now, this side is doing very well, and I feel like this side, as you can see, is already starting to have some breaks along the side, whereas this side I feel like is much better put together. And I'm not sure why. It might be due to the terrain. Maybe, you know what, it must be that, because these guys have a huge chunk of terrain right here in which they just cannot properly go across. Meanwhile, you have this blood waterfall just forming, this blood fall. It's just absolutely crazy. And then you have piles of bodies just forming because all these guys, in their rush to get to the flanks here, again, not in hold formation, but rather attack formation, are just absolutely falling off with complete disregard for themselves. Plus, it's just the dead bodies that are being killed. Of course, I mean, the dead undead. Now, previously, in order to get to 500,000 kills, I ran, like I said, a somewhat similar simulation with more Shermans, but fewer American troops. And at this point, with 500,000 dead, I saw something like 13,000, not 13,000, but rather, like, probably around half, like 20,000 troops. So, oh, we're starting to see encirclements here. Of course, as they go around the flanks, I mean, this is just such an overwhelming amount. I mean, you're talking a U.S. state's worth, a large U.S. state's worth of zombies, and they are just going around, completely encircling, and those lights are about to go out in just a few seconds. This is gone. Okay, now as they are going to continue to encircle these troops and just continually pinch them off, so you're going to see this a little, I don't know if the word is salient, but you're going to see them encircle here and then just completely wipe them out. And then once this whole flank goes, they're just going to encircle around the back. So these guys are no longer firing free to support the front lines, but rather they're going to have to be firing to the sides and the rear to defend themselves, much like what's going on here on the right side. So tons of devastation here. Already 1/3 of the troops are gone pretty much. We see these are pretty decently holding themselves, but once these troops get pinched off, they are gone. These guys will be gone, rather. These guys are doing pretty well. You're starting to see a little bit of a body wall being formed, which in theory should help the troops a little bit. These guys are starting to be withered down, especially along the flanks, as you could imagine. Of course, like, comment, definitely subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel up. I want to see how you guys like my content. Let me know if you guys like commentary, no commentary. I want to know because I kind of want to post daily or somewhat daily videos, you know, so this will be the first video I post. And if this goes well, maybe I'll keep posting videos. I'll probably publish about 10 to 20 of these videos and just kind of take it from there. So if it does well, it does well, and I'll be very happy. If it doesn't do well, then you know what? I'll keep tanking with my Tankenstein channel. But of course, I will be doing that regardless of the success of this channel. So it's not one or the other, but rather one or both. So that said, we have a developing encirclement here. These guys have their backs to the cliff. They really can't do much. And you are seeing this guy going, and then this guy in the middle, on the left, and the guy in the middle probably in just a second. Oh yeah, they're starting to be encircled. So this line is still holding fairly well. Now I'm kind of wondering why. I think it's largely just due to the terrain, but these guys are being encircled entirely. Once the right side, like once these flanks go, especially like once the 2 or 3 of these Shermans go, you're going to see a huge amount. So they've already destroyed over 1 million zombies for 20,000 troops. Very impressive. Very impressive. Like I said, I mean, I beefed up the number, so I gave each of these on the side. We have 20 or 15,000 if I'm not mistaken, or no, rather 12,500 shotgun soldiers on each of the sides. And what happened was I beefed them up. They used to be 10,000 in a previous simulation. Look at this. So these are all bodies. I mean, you can just look under. Oh, you would assume those would be all bodies. Now these are all bodies. And now they're starting to climb up walls of dead. How horrifying is this? It's just awful. And they are just fortifying themselves with this must be 25-foot wall of dead bodies, but they're starting to be flanked. They're starting to be flanked entirely. Now at this point, it's pretty obvious. I think the troops are not going to survive, but I want to see how this goes a little bit, so I'll keep it running because it's interesting to see what pockets of resistance last the longest. Now obviously this pocket is destroyed. This one's going. It'll go quickly. Now what I had seen in a previous simulation, okay, exactly. So they'll peel off from here. So you have them on top of a body wall, and you'll see them peel off and start to defend the choke points. These guys are still doing well, but again, they're not holding, they're attacking, so they're kind of distributed in a bad manner. And so you have this guy. Once this guy goes, then this guy's the next target, then these guys are the next target, and then all of a sudden you have 2% fewer troops, or 2 or 3 or 4, however many fewer troops. These guys are totally encircled. They'll be gone in a second. And once these guys go, the zombies will be free to flank around and attack these guys, I'm assuming first, and then these guys. But what happens is, and I noticed in the beginning, you saw a huge attrition rate at the very beginning of troops, and now it's become much faster for the zombies relative to troops lost. And the reason being, I think, is because shotgun soldiers just don't really last as long. Like once the first troops go, and then you have the longer range troops kind of holding them off, the assault soldiers seem to be quite a bit stronger in this scenario. You have this huge great wall of bodies. I mean, you're talking 1.5 million bodies, and they are just lined up. In the previous simulation I ran, at the very end of it, the American troops held off against about 1.8 million zombies. Here, it appears as though we might get over 2. So, it's very interesting to see. I mean, you have these very defined lines. Oh, I'm going over there. I want to see how this is. Unfortunately, they don't really have a fast travel or a speed up here. So if I could speed this up by 1.25 times, I would love to. But again, unfortunately, that's not the instance. Oh, that pocket's destroyed. These guys are being swarmed. I do not expect them to last very long. Wow, the last stand. This is like the German 6th Army. in a way. Not saying that Russians are zombies because, of course, the defenders of Stalingrad were not zombies, but you have a pocket forming here. These Shermans are still holding their own, but they're about to go. Each side of these Shermans is probably taking out 15, 20 zombies. Wow, they're gone. We saw this huge wall, fairly thick wall of troops, and they seem to still be the shotgun soldiers. That's very impressive, but you can see it looks like dunes, but these are just body walls, just full of dead bodies. And again, let me know if you guys like the commentary. If not, I can make videos without them. Maybe I can make a mix of videos, some with commentary, some with not. Maybe create some lighter commentary, but I feel like once you start putting commentary into a single video, you pretty much have to continue it, otherwise it's dead air. It's better to have continuous dead air and only have the expectation of dead air than some dead air and some not. Oh yeah, these guys are completely surrounded. Let's see how they're doing. I kind of want to be here until the last. Wow, the other pockets are gone. These guys are being wiped out by like probably 10 a second maybe. I mean, as you can see, the numbers, they're going up like about 10 to 20 a second in terms of dead. I'll give them credit. They're holding on. They're definitely holding on, but they are about to go. So they're still holding on in the corners there. American troops down. Wow, are they pushing? No way. They seem to have moved forward. They are holding out way better than I expected. You know, like I said, so originally that huge line of troops had around 12,000 or around 17,500, if I'm not mistaken, troops, and I buffed it up to 20,000. But across a huge line, 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers worth of troops, these guys are gone. That 2,500 doesn't really equal too much, but maybe it gave them enough juice to defend a little bit more properly down here. I mean, of course it would have, but I don't really know if they're going to be able to do it for too long. Once these troops on the outside go, and that's it. But oh wow, they are doing way better than I expected. So I've actually ran simulations, like the same simulations twice. Sometimes, obviously, you know, the troops or X side, Team 1 or Team 2 does better than they did in the previous simulation. So this might be the instance here. I mean, they're holding out very well. Although, eventually, I mean, as you can see, this guy on the very outside, he's going to get killed. Yep. Then you have these guys are going to get killed, and you already have one of them. So they're going to get withered down. But I will call this on the side of the zombies in just a moment, because, of course, the zombies are going to win, but the troops are doing a lot better than I expect. Oh, yeah. You have this. They're about to encircle this small group there, on this one there, and then they're going to take out this group. Once they take out this group, that's the last resistance. Then you have this entire huge wave of zombies that'll just be able to go around and wipe this group out. And it looks as though they've already broken through the center. So then once this wave gets broken, so from both the right and the left side, then you're going to have them starting to collapse in over here. It already looks kind of weak here a little bit. Not too bad, but once they start collapsing on the right side, so you're starting to see the right side collapse pretty bad. And of course, I mean, you know, every single troop counts. If I had added 50 troops, it would have made a difference. Not a huge one, but a difference. If I added 50 zombies, it doesn't really matter, you know. But I don't know if I showed you in the beginning, but these zombies are actually, they made a pretty big dent. They've taken out about a third of them thus far. And initially, I was actually thinking about putting troops here on the very top of the pyramids, but obviously that did not happen. So, that said, I mean, whether or not I continue to make this video or not, you know, so I could, obviously, I mean, wow, this is like a freaking garbage chute. That's crazy. They're just flying forward and just dying, which I think is actually benefiting the troops pretty substantially, because now they're kind of seeing eye to eye with them. Wow, they're starting to funnel in through the back. That's crazy. It's like World War Z. But obviously, wow, the zombies are dying like 3,000 a second, whereas the troops are only dying like 10 or 15 a second. So I think it's still fairly safe to say, wow. Oh, yep, there they go. They're starting to get collapsed in on. I think it's fairly safe to say, of course, at this point, the zombies are going to win. So, it's almost kind of pointless to continue this. And, you know what? I kind of want to see. I'll go for another few moments here. Maybe get down to where these guys are at the very last troops. So let's see. These guys are defending so well. I really almost kind of think that it was the inclusion of that extra 2,500 troops that, even though they were dispersed amongst the entire length of the map, the entire width of the map, I think that they were just enough troops where this is actually starting to be defended very well. Wow. I mean, we're already seeing, so by the end of my last match, my last simulation, the troops only destroyed 1.8 million zombies, right? And they had 45,000 troops. Now, there's still about a quarter of the troops left, and they've already destroyed about 25% more zombies, just about. That's remarkable. That's remarkable. So, I don't know. I think the majority of the troops are being destroyed over here. Oh, there it is. They're completely encircled on the left flank. You're going to start seeing troop numbers dwindle very quickly once these guys go. Are we still on shotgun troops at the front and assault troops in the back? Makes sense. Huge levels of zombies. So yeah, I think we're going to start seeing casualty rates increase, especially once they start pushing through here. So yeah, I mean, even in the middle, like, these guys are getting weakened. Like, they're only like 1 or 2 hits away from dying, a lot of them. So you're going to start seeing the ones spread out, getting really destroyed. These guys, at this point, are entirely encircled. There's no way around that. They are gone in a few moments. Let's get back down here and see. I'm still genuinely surprised they formed themselves a really nice defense. Now, if these guys actually went out and started attacking them, then they'd be gone in an instant. But of course, that's not what's happening, but I am really surprised here. This is what happens when you make an effective choke point, but of course, I mean, they are still making it. As you can see, there are several troops being hit. So, yeah, we're starting to see accelerating casualties. Let's see. Wow. Even more encircled than it was before. Once this is wiped out, that's got to be like, what, 200, 250 maybe? Actually, maybe 400 soldiers. Once this is totally wiped out, we're going to see, oh, they've also encircled this right here, and they're starting to encircle them. Oh, wow. I think we're starting to see the very end here. It's just very interesting to see how this game kind of functions, because you don't know who's going to be encircled at what point. I mean, like, look at that. It goes all the way to the mountains. These guys are not yet destroyed, although they are starting to be hit. Not even starting. They have been hit for a while now. You can see the lines are thinning out a little bit here. Not a ton, but a little bit. Definitely here. If this was not a choke point right here, these guys I feel like would be dead, but they're being held pretty much. I mean, like, look at them. They're just kind of walking towards their inevitable doom because they can't really fit through. Oh yeah, here we go. Wow. Once this pocket goes, that'll be the end of the match. It's very clear at this point that the soldiers have not made it, but they did a hell of a job. Wow. Like, I'm genuinely surprised. By the end of this, I wouldn't be surprised if they hit 2.6 million. Maybe like 2.55. I mean, it's starting to slow down tremendously, production. But who knows? Who knows? It's just kind of depressing once you, like, get up a little bit like this. You can see the car. I mean, the blood just spans almost the entire map. Huge portion. I mean, these bullets must go that far. And you start, like, seeing these lights just kind of dim slowly. I mean, they are completely surrounded. They have no hope. Like, imagine being these guys. It's 3, 2, 1, gone. That's it. That pocket of resistance is gone. Now they're starting to break off. We only have 1 Sherman left. These guys are gone pretty much. And then these guys are going to be totally encircled in about the next 2 minutes. So I just want to check on these guys, and that'll be the end of it. Let's see. These guys are still holding out. Nope. Wow, they got wiped out. They must have been encircled. Holy cow. Oh, wow. They're just, that's what happened. I'm actually almost more surprised that these guys are still here. But that said, thank you so much for watching. This is UEBS Hub 2, or UEBS 2 Hub, because this is the hub for all of your UEBS 2 gameplay videos. So again, let me know in the comments below if you managed to actually watch this entire video. Let me know. You know, I'm interested to see if you guys, you know, want this sort of commentary. If you don't want commentary, if you want my commentary to change a little bit, I'm very much interested in that, but it's very obvious at this point that the soldiers are going to lose. So, with that said, thank you all so much for watching. Again, please like, comment, and especially subscribe, and I will see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.